Hi friends, in this video I'm doing a side-by-side of three low D whistles. The MK Pro low D, the Chieftain V5 low D, and the Howard low D. One of our friends asked if I would do a side-by-side particularly of the MK Pro and the Chieftain V5. Now I'm throwing the Howard in because of some similarities and also to provide just a little bit more distinction, and because these are all in similar kind of price brackets there. And so I'm not going to dive deep into distinctions between them because by the time you know kind of what you want and you're ready to say, I just need a quick side-by-side, then you want to hear and you want to know a few things. From a whole pattern standpoint, each of these three whistles have very similar whole patterns with the, I would call it probably the most common low D whistle whole pattern, where you're going to need, the modified piper's grip or a piper's grip, depending upon your comfort level. You're not going to play, unless you're like really, really long fingers, you're not going to play any of these three with your fingertip pads. But anyway, so what I really am primarily wanting to give you a listen to them and to talk about breath pressure, tone quality, and you'll get that mainly by hearing where to get them and basically how much they are. So Howard, I'm going to play a scale on each before I play a tune on each. All right, great tone. When I was a brand new low D whistle player, the Howard is the first one I got. I still love it dearly. And it took me a while to learn to play the upper octave because you do have to learn from about the F sharp G to breathe more solidly into your whistle to get the notes and to get good tone quality. Now the same basic thing on the Chieftain V5. The Chieftain also, I wouldn't say to learn the whistle, it requires quite the same amount of breath pressure as the Howard, but somewhat similar. The Chieftain's quite easy to play at the top, but you can still play it expressively. It's also, all three of these are beautiful whistles. You will not go wrong with any of the three of these. Now you notice from a tone quality standpoint, the Chieftain's a little more breathy and sizzly than the Howard. The Howard's a little more on the mellow side without being breathy. Now, the MK Pro, same basic thing. All right, the MK Pro requires the most breath pressure in the second octave, probably starting with an increase in pressure at around the E, definitely at the F sharp. Once you learn the whistle, you can play top to bottom quite well. And it also, from a tone standpoint, so you're going warmer, good brass warmth to the Howard. You're getting in the Chieftain a little more breathy, sizzly, and then with the MK Pro, you're getting a combination of some warm and some breathiness with just a hint of some sizzliness. So another thing I think is important is volume comparison. The MK Pro is the loudest, and it's difficult to tell between the Howard and the Chieftain. You can do that comparison. I can hit both of them pretty loud. I think the Chieftain's a fairly you could play this very gently and easily. It could be the most quiet of the three. But again, well, let me try that. So the Chieftain quietly. So you do have to push in. One other thing too, and I'm going to add the MK Pro in this. When do you break into the second octave as you're trying to increase volume in the low octave? And you've got some range in the Chieftain before you start breaking. You can't increase the breath pressure, the volume a lot in the lower octave. A lot of these whistles, the volume really can crank up in the second octave. Let me see what that is on the Howard first. Can I play it quietly, and then the volume change in the lower octave. So to me, I think the Chieftain can lean a little more quiet in that regard. Let me try the volume increase in the lower octave on the Howard. Okay, just a hair more breadth of volume change between the Howard and the Chieftain. You're not going to notice an appreciable difference there. Now, the same thing on the MK Pro. Can I play the MK Pro quietly? Because for me, in my little study here, the MK Pro is not really the whistle that I'm going to come in and play in my study that much. For me, this is a louder whistle. So can I play at least the lower octave quietly? And we'll see how quiet I can be all the way up. Okay, yeah, you could do that. You could play it inside. That works well. Now let me try that volume range, see what we can accomplish in the lower octave. The the MK Pro may have the widest range, but you start to lose the tone right before you break. So that it probably brings it a little closer to the Howard range there. So anyway, I'd say from a breath pressure requirement, easiest blower to requiring more breath pressure would be Chieftain, least breath pressure in the second octave, then the Howard, then the MK Pro. Volume, I believe the Chieftain can play the most quiet, but the Howard is a little loud, can be a little louder, and the MK Pro definitely the loudest. Tone quality, you're getting, let me change that and go this way. You're getting more mellow, not very breathy out of the Howard, but I have the balanced head. Remember, Howard gives you the ability to have different heads to craft different tones. So this is the balanced head. It's not intended to be breathy or sizzly. And then the Chieftain is a little breathy, sizzly, good, it plays really well. And then the combo of breathy, mellow, and some fuzziness is in the MK Pro. I do want to play the Minstrel Boy in a minute, but it just hit me. I feel like I'm telling the story of Goldilocks. You know, because you might be choosing, this one's too much this one's too much that, this one, you know, whatever works, whatever it is for you. So the tone of each is lovely, but I think obviously it's going to be something that is going to be your preference. You would not go wrong with any of these whistles. One of the things I've not done in this video, and in the interest of time, I'm not going to play a fast tune, because I'm more concerned you hear tone quality. But before I recorded, I spent some time playing the Harvest Home hornpipe and running through that real quick run on each of these, and they each respond very well. These are each lovely whistles, very responsive. So you could play any of them. You could play an air on any of the three of these and fall in love with it. You could play a quick tune on any of the three of these and fall in love with it. Each of the three of these, you will need to learn to play the whistle, because none of these are inexpensive whistles that you're not going to grow into. These are whistles you will grow into, which means you're going to need to learn to play them well, which takes time. Now let me play the Minstrel Boy on each. I'll go the same sequence: Howard, Chieftain, MK Pro. So first, the Minstrel Boy on the Howard Low D with the balanced head. And I'm avoiding adding too much ornamentation as I play, because I want you simply to hear the whistle without me masking the tone with ornaments. Now, the Minstrel Boy on the Chieftain V5. hard pressed because these are all lovely. Now the MK Pro Minstrel Boy. All right. See, at this point, between these three whistles, you're choosing between tone and possibly a little volume because they're all just so amazing. And I want to tell you now about where to get these, pricing, and then I've got a little bonus content. So the Howard. The Howard comes in a variety of options. You can get one of three different heads with your purchase, but I got the least expensive. Mine's just the flat black finish, and that's today around just about $150 from either Howard themselves or Big Whistle. Both ship wonderfully. You can pay a little bit more to get some of the really fancy beautiful finishes on the Howard, but I live on a budget. Now, the Chieftain V5, just under $230 from at today's exchange rate from Kerry Whistles. The MK Pro, pick up from either MK or Big Whistle, both great places. They both ship well, both good to deal with. I have a closer relationship with Big Whistle, but it's immaterial where you purchase this from. So this is around $360 from either of those places. And if you're on a budget, then take that into account. Now I said I'd give you some bonus content. For bonus content, I just want to play a scale and the Minstrel Boy on the Chieftain Custom. Phil Hardy at Kerry Whistles has just a few of these left. If you like this as well as the Chieftain, you could save money by getting one of these while they're still available. And that's why I've stuck this at the end. And I've compared the two Chieftains in a previous video. But in this one, I just want to include this. So a scale and then the Minstrel Boy on the Chieftain Custom. I think for me, one of the reasons Kerry Whistle's probably not going to continue manufacturing the Custom is that it's so very similar to the V5. If you're playing in public with other people, the two Customs, you're going to have to really push to be heard. push the Howard a little to be heard, and the MK Pro is definitely one of the louder low D whistles. Anyway, all three of the primary ones I introduced are amazing. The Custom is amazing. I love them all. And you will not be unhappy with any of them. Again, that's why I say you're choosing based on tone. You might be choosing based on price as well. So take those into consideration, and I'll put links to where you can pick up each of these in the notes to this video. And until next time, this is Scott Shade. Happy whistling, my friends.